For days later, northern border of Liaoning province. Baek Ji was riding his horse when it suddenly screeched to a halt, rearing up and crying out. He quickly jumped off, landing hard on the ground. Ko Wong-her burst out laughing. Baek Ji, at this rate, you'll never learn to ride a horse properly. Baek Ji frowned, glancing at his horse. Damn it, I failed again. Just a moment's lapse in focus, and this happens. He clenched his fist, sparks of lightning crackling from it. I must have lost my mind back then, he thought grimly. Lightning flared around his body as his jaw tightened. To think I actually drank the blood of the dragon turtle. His thoughts turned inward. Since our days in the demonic academy, the Six Swords have always honed their martial arts through sparring. I once rivaled Ko Wong-her for the top position among us. But somewhere along the way, I was overtaken, not just by Moon-gyu. Ko Wong-her advanced to become a superior master, a wall I could no longer cross. To overcome that wall, I received new martial arts created by Yeo-Un himself. But even that wasn't enough. Then something happened that shattered what little confidence I had left. I was defeated by Hubong, of all people. After standing beside Yeo-Un and gaining countless experiences and fortunes, Hubong is no longer the man he once was. Baek Ji clenched his teeth, rage flashing in his eyes. Damn it, to lose to Hubong of all people. Baek Ji thought bitterly, losing to someone I always considered beneath me. It drove me to do something reckless. He glared at the bowl of dragon turtle blood before him, lost in hesitation. Before anyone could stop him, he lifted it to his lips and drank it all. In his desperation, he ignored the fact that the warriors of the North Sea Ice Palace had been burned alive by the lightning energy after attempting the same. Hubong succeeded in absorbing the blood of the fire Cheon, he told himself. There's no way I can't do the same. But the moment the last drop touched his tongue, his eyes widened in horror. Violent lightning chi erupted from within him. The power was overwhelming, tearing through his body like a storm gone mad. The result of his recklessness was devastating. Had Yeo-Un not arrived in time to suppress the raging lightning energy, Baek Ji would have been consumed entirely. Though he eventually managed to absorb the lightning chi, controlling it proved far more difficult. Even the slightest lapse in focus caused it to surge out uncontrollably. Yeo-Un studied him quietly. You're different from Hubong, he said. The fire Cheon's blood from the Imperial Tomb had its fire energy diluted by the eternal snow. But the dragon turtle died only recently. Its blood is still brimming with spiritual power. He added calmly, if you could completely circulate the lightning chi within your body using your internal energy, it wouldn't leak out unconsciously as it does now. Baek Ji looked up and asked, how do I fully circulate it? Yeo-Un smiled faintly. Simply put, you need to reach the level of a superior master. Baek Ji held his horse by the reins as he walked forward, lost in thought. If it were that easy, I would have done it long ago, he thought bitterly. I possess both inner strength and lightning chi, yet I can't fully control them, nor have I reached enlightenment. He narrowed his eyes, staring ahead. Does that mean Hubong's natural talent surpasses mine? He walked on in silence, the wind brushing past him. No, he realized. Hubong didn't grow stronger by comparing himself to others. He simply devoted himself to his duty. Baek Ji clenched his fist as lightning crackled faintly around it. I was the foolish one. He is who he is, and I am who I am. Martial arts aren't something achieved through impatience. He exhaled deeply, trying to calm himself. Damn it, at this point, I have no choice but to acknowledge that guy. Hubong glanced back, noticing Baek Ji's body radiating a faint surge of lightning chi. He smiled. You're having trouble controlling it, aren't you? Then, with a serious tone, he added, I understand how you feel, Baek Ji. Great power always comes with great responsibility. Baek Ji blinked, surprised. Can this guy actually say something serious like that? Have I been misunderstanding him all this time? Hubong then scratched his head awkwardly and grinned. I can barely sleep at night myself, always struggling to suppress the heat writhing inside me. He chuckled, completely ruining the moment. Baek Ji gritted his teeth. I take it back. I'm not acknowledging this idiot. I refuse to lose to a perverted fool like him. Hubong laughed as he called out, Hey, wait for me, Baek Ji. Cheon Niji burst out laughing, glancing at Yeo-Un. You've gathered quite the amusing subordinates. Yeo-Un remembered the past. When he first met Hu Bong, the young man had been crushed under the pressure of the demonic legion. Now, Hu Bong had become someone who lifted everyone's spirits, an indispensable presence. Watching Hu Bong toy with flames in his hand, Yeo-Un felt a quiet pride. He was glad Hu Bong had become his first subordinate. His face turned serious as he addressed Murong Mu. "We've entered Liaoning province. You can guide us to Changbai Mountain, right?" Murong Mu swallowed and wiped a bead of sweat. "Lord Cheon, are you really planning to go to Changbai Mountain?" Mong Kong snapped at him from the rear. "How dare you question the Lord's decision when you're only serving as a guide?" Yeo-Un's voice sharpened. "You hesitated the last time we spoke of Changbai Mountain. What is it you fear?" Murong Mu closed his eyes, trembling. "Lord Cheon, among the people of Liaoning there's an unspoken rule. No matter what happens, you must never enter Changbai Mountain." Cheon Niji stared in disbelief. Yeo-Un answered coldly. "What kind of nonsense is that?" Murong Mu gripped his reins and spoke hurriedly. Both his father and grandfather warned him the same thing. He had never once dared approach the mountain's entrance. The southern slopes of Changbai lay in the lands of the eastern tribes, mere borders, he thought. Yet his elders had insisted otherwise. At the entrance of Changbai Mountain, his grandfather had said, "A monster dwells. If you value your life, don't even go near it." Cheon Niji glanced at Yeo-Un, his expression grim as he sent a voice transmission. "My memory isn't what it used to be, but I believe I once heard something like that myself." The officers of the profound Blade and Martial sect once spoke of a monster guarding Changbai Mountain. Yeo-Un's eyes narrowed as he responded through transmission. "A monster, you say? Could they be referring to the white tiger said to dwell there?" They continued riding through the misty trail as Cheon Niji's gaze deepened. If that monster is indeed the one they spoke of, then what lies ahead may prove quite difficult for us. Yeo-Un frowned. "That person? Grandfather, do you mean someone you know?" A single bead of sweat rolled down Cheon Niji's cheek as he gave a faint nod. His voice was low, almost trembling. "Eastern caste god, the Malice. 2 days earlier. Border between eastern Liaoning province and southern Jilin province. Columns of warriors advanced in perfect order, banners fluttering, armor glinting beneath the pale light. The air was filled with the heavy rhythm of boots striking frozen earth. At the front, the Murim Alliance marched in full force. One side bore uniforms of solemn black, each troop carrying a flag adorned with the emblem of their sect. The other, the righteous factions, disciplined, united, and battle-ready. Hoyanjia, sect leader of Mount Dianxing sect and 10th commander of the alliance, turned his head slightly, his eyes tracing the endless formation. "Since becoming the head of my sect, this is the first time I've seen such a full-scale deployment," he said, his tone edged with awe. He added, "If they so wished, they could wipe an entire city off the map. To think the righteous faction's finest warriors would gather together to form an army of 5,000. Beside him, Zhang Xian, head of Mount Hung sect and 4th commander of the alliance, pressed her palms together softly. "Amitba, I wonder if such strength truly needs to be deployed to conquer Changbai Mountain," she murmured. Sect leader Ho walked beside them, eyes half closed in calm reflection. "I feel the same as Master Zhang Xian," he said quietly, the wind carrying his words across the frozen expanse. "Perhaps it would have been wiser to send 90% of our troops to Hangzhou, where the Blade Lord's base lies." The voice came from sect leader Ho, his tone calm, yet edged with skepticism as his horse's hooves crunched over the frozen ground. Across from him, Chief Hong, the beggar clan's head, snorted sharply. "You've heard the strategist's plan, and yet you still question the decision?" Sect leader Ho turned his head slightly, meeting his gaze. "Isn't that right, Chief Hong? Allocating 30% of our total force to Changbai Mountain." He frowned. "You don't understand why we do that just to seize or protect a mythical beast's core, do you?" From the other side, the abbot of Shaolin, Gakyan, opened his eyes slowly, his deep voice carrying across the cold air. "Perhaps sect leader Ho doesn't yet know. After all, it hasn't been long since you were promoted to Grand Commander." Sect leader Ho's brows furrowed slightly. "What do you mean by that, Master?" Gakyan's expression remained serene as he asked, "Why do you think 200 soldiers and the 3rd strategist, Ojiseo, were sent ahead as an advance party?" Sect leader Ho glanced slightly toward him, then asked cautiously, "You believe it was to negotiate with the guardian of Changbai Mountain, correct?" He added, "But even if that man is one of the 5 great masters." Chief Hong cut him off, his voice suddenly sharp. "He's more than just one of the 5 great masters." Sect leader Ho turned toward him, eyes narrowing. "What are you saying?" Chief Hong's face darkened, his tone heavy. If that monster secluded on Changbai Mountain had ever decided to walk the martial world again, he might well have been hailed as the strongest under heaven. Sect leader Ho's eyes widened slightly. "The strongest under heaven, you say?" He exhaled slowly, his breath misting in the air. "I hope, for all our sakes, you're exaggerating." His voice lowered as he added, almost to himself, "I know he's the oldest among the 5 great masters, but I don't understand why they speak of him with such reverence." Then, raising his head once more, he declared, "In any case, if we can make him our ally, he'd be more than capable of standing against the demon god." Chief Hong rode ahead, his expression grave. "If everything goes as the grand strategist planned," he said slowly, "that might indeed be possible." The 16th Master Lord of the Jinju, Yeo-Un, rode forward and said, "Whether negotiations succeed or fail, the 3rd strategist and the advance party are supposed to rendezvous at the mountain's entrance, yes?" The 17th Master Lord of the Habuk Peng clan, Peng Yu, replied calmly, "Let's hope the talks go smoothly." Just then, Mu Gu Cheon, sect leader of the Shangxi Sword Sect and first commander of the alliance, noticed something ahead. He quickly reined in his horse and shouted, "Everyone, stop!" Zhang Xian called out to him, confused, "Mu Gu, what is it?" Mu Gu's eyes widened as a cold dread ran down his spine. Something's wrong, this stench, that metallic tang. His heart pounded as he looked up to see a sky painted red. Thousands of crows swirling above, their cries echoing through the air, almost blotting out the light. He muttered under his breath, his voice grim, "It's the smell of blood." Ho Hyenjia, who always maintained his composure, was petrified at the sight before him. He pondered silently. What's with this chilling, ominous aura? The beggar sect head covered his nose slightly. Something's happened. He added, "To think there's this much blood in the air, it's not from just 1 or 2 deaths." Mu Guqion turned slightly, glancing at Gak Yun. They both nodded in silent understanding. He raised his hand to give a signal, then ordered as he marched ahead, "All troops, advance." But in that instant, a figure jumped up from afar. As his figure was in the air, he started to descend slowly. The figure used his footwork technique to dash forward with lightning speed, crashing into the ground with overwhelming force. The entire Murim Alliance forces at the front were hit by the shockwave. Makemo was also at the front. Affected by the shockwave, he held tightly to his horse's reins. The whole area fell silent as they watched the figure land with overwhelming pressure, destroying the land beneath him. The figure stood up slowly as the dust began to settle. Mu Guqion and Ho Hyenjia held their ground against the shockwave as the dust passed over them. The figure stood tall like an unmovable mountain, blocking their path. A bead of sweat dripped down Gak Yun's back as he recognized the person before him. He explained aloud, his voice trembling slightly, "That man is Eastern caste god, the Malice." The entire force froze. Murmurs broke out one after another. "Eastern caste god? Is that really him?" Makemo narrowed his eyes, the air around him tense. So the rumors were true. He really was in seclusion on Changbai Mountain all this time. His gaze hardened, and a heavy killing intent seeped out from him as he muttered. Among the 5 great masters of the Central Plains, he alone reached the peak without a weapon. The man who conquered Murim with nothing but his fists, bestowed the title of God himself. Mu Guqion turned slightly toward Gak Yun and said gravely, "Master Gak Yun, do you see the bloodstains on that man's robe?" Gak Yun's eyes flicked toward Malice, noticing for the first time the dark red stains splattered across the fabric. "Now that you mention it," he frowned, thinking deeply. "This thick scent of blood, that name, Eastern caste god. Ba, this is ominous indeed. I would rather it not be true, but the aura he gives off, it's far too hostile." Mu Guqion then stepped forward, raising his voice. "Is it truly the art of the Eastern caste god, Malice?" He cupped his fists and declared formally, "I am Mu Guqion, first master of the Martial Artists Alliance and clan leader of the Shangxi Sword Sect. One of our officers, Ojasio, came here with the advance party and reported that both you and Changbai Mountain are in danger. Malice stood motionless, silent. His cold gaze revealed nothing. Mu Guqion tried again. Did you receive that report, perhaps? Zhang Xian watched nervously from behind, her brow furrowing. He seems to care about the Changbai direction, but why won't he say anything? Mu Guqion pressed on, voice firm but respectful. Even though our presence may cause misunderstanding, our goal is to prevent the upcoming crisis. Before he could finish, Malice cut him off, his tone flat and icy. Leave. The word carried such finality that the wind itself seemed to freeze. Still, Mu Guqion clenched his jaw and persisted. Master, as you just said, there is a force seeking the spirit beast of Changbai Mountain. Malice's eyes darken to a deep blue as he warns coldly. This is your final warning. If you do not leave now, your lives will be in grave danger. Gak-Yun turns to Mu Guqion, tense. Sect leader Mu, there's no room for negotiation in his voice. Mu Guqion is silent for a long moment. Then, gripping his sword, he decides aloud. I think we must abandon the general's first plan. In his mind, he realizes the warrior is still guarding this place. The demonic cult and the Blade God's 6 martial clan haven't arrived yet. They brace themselves and draw weapons. Mu Guqion continues, voice hard. I had hoped he would join us, but it can't be helped. Even if it costs us dearly, we must seize the White Tiger's core first. He draws his blade and declares, all of this is to protect our forces and the spirit beast of Changbai Mountain. In the next instant, 7 riders surge forward from their horses, launching into motion. They form the Heavenly Gang North Star formation. Mu Guqion orders sharply, be ruthless if need be, but understand your roles. The Heavenly Gang North Star formation, a supreme tactic created by Wang Zhongyang, founder of the Zhenjin sect, is modeled on the Big Dipper, Celestial Pivot, Tianshu, Celestial Rotating Jade, Tianxian, Celestial Shining Pearl, Tianji, Celestial Balance, Tianquan, Jade Sight, Yeo-Un, Twinkling Brilliance, Kaiyang, and Flickering Light, Yaguang. When 7 masters take their positions, their energies amplify, but the formation's weakness lies at the center. To cover that flaw, Mu Guqion places himself at Tianquan, the pivotal spot. He surges forward with a crushing strike, unleashing the Shangxi sect's ultimate technique, Sword Dance, Peerless Blade. Seeing Malice standing motionless ahead, he scoffs, to think you'd try to take my sword technique head on. Malice stretches out his fist, a cold blue aura coils around it. Mu Guqion brings his sword down, but when steel meets fist, the air around the blow warps. His blade begins to splinter. With terrifying force, the peerless blade shatters like porcelain. Malice does not flinch. Mu Guqion's eyes widen in disbelief. Our sect's treasured sword art, shattered. Before he can recover, Malice's boot snaps into his face. The impact twists Mu Guqion's features. He reels and skids across the ground like a thrown pebble. Hongyu looks on, aghast. A warrior who stands among the 9 great masters. Overturned by a single punch and a single kick, Malice vanishes in a blur and appears behind Pengyu, driving a brutal fist into his gut. Pengyu coughs blood. Pengyu was sent flying across the ground. Ho Hyenja saw this and shouted his name in worry. His expression turned cold as he rushed forward, swinging his sword down. You monster! Malice stood there calmly, unflinching. His eyes grew sharp, filled with killing intent. Ho Hyenja froze, cold sweat running down his back. In a blur, he stepped back to create distance, his gaze fixed on Malice, wondering what kind of terrifying aura he had just felt. Then, Malice vanished. Ho Hyenja trembled slightly, searching frantically. Zhang Xian called out his name, eyes wide. Ho Hyenja looked around desperately, but Malice was already above him. With his fist clenched, Malice struck down from the sky. The impact shattered the ground, leaving a deep crater. Zhang Xian and Gak-Yun froze in shock. Even Makimo, still mounted on his horse, stared in disbelief. Malice stood silently amid the destruction, scanning the field. Ho Hyenja's head was buried into the ground, his body trembling, before collapsing completely. The entire team stopped, stunned. Behind Gak-yeon, Jong Seon's face went pale. One punch, he was driven knee-deep into the ground. Unbelievable strength. If this keeps up, we'll all be wiped out. She leapt into the air, calling for Gak-yeon's support. Then, she activated the demonic subduing sutra secret technique. 9 syllables Garuda. Gak-yeon followed up with the Shaolin technique. Reversal Tendon Scripture, tenfold power. Jong Seon charged forward, her sword gleaming, while Gak-yeon unleashed a barrage of strikes from behind. Malice continued walking forward, calm and silent, as their combined attacks closed in. He opened his eyes slightly, a faint frown forming. Before Jong Seon's sword could even reach his neck, it crumbled like paper. A bead of sweat slid down her face as her eyes widened in disbelief. Malice raised his hand and shattered the sword in a single, effortless motion. Jong Seon was pushed back, stunned. The enhanced fist, it's being absorbed? Pulled in. What is this? As she regained her footing, Malice drew his arm back for another devastating strike. He punched forward with full force. Jong Seon quickly covered her hand with enhanced chi, trying to block, gritting her teeth. A loud bang erupted. A blinding flash engulfed her, and everyone watching froze in shock. Jong Seon was sent flying several meters, coughing blood. He penetrated my protective chi. It passed straight through. Could this man's fist? Malice stood calmly, fist still raised, the space around it visibly distorted. Jong Seon hit the ground hard. Gak-yeon turned toward her, calling her name in desperation, but Malice appeared behind him in an instant, fist already drawn back. Gak-yeon spun sharply, reacting on instinct. But Malice's punch landed in a flash, and he surged forward again, charging straight toward Jinju Yong-in with his fist close in. Jinju Yong-in narrowly dodged Malice's fist, ducking low to avoid the blow. But Malice immediately raised his leg and kicked. The kick struck Jinju Yong-in squarely in the face, sending him flying. The beggar sect head rushed forward with his bamboo staff, ready to strike. He closed in behind Malice and unleashed the strike violation Ajanero technique with full force. Malice simply turned his head, giving him a slight glance. A loud bang erupted as their chi clashed violently, but the beggar sect head was sent flying several meters in an instant. Make Mo's eyes widened in disbelief as he sat atop his horse, mouth hanging open. The beggar sect head crashed to the ground right in front of him. Make Mo's breath seized, cold sweat running down his back. He muttered, "For the leaders of the Murim Alliance to fall so easily." He stared at Malice's imposing figure, trembling as his thoughts spiraled. Malice took a few steps forward, eyes fixed on the Murim Alliance warriors. Make Mo forced himself to regain composure and rallied the soldiers, shouting, "There's no time to just watch. We are 5,000 strong. If we all attack together, we can stop the Eastern God, Malice." He roared, "All troops, charge." The Murim Alliance warriors obeyed, charging forward with swords in hand. Make Mo gritted his teeth, thinking, no matter how powerful the Eastern combat god is, he's still human. If we overwhelm him with numbers, he'll tire eventually. But suddenly, an overwhelming surge of chi swept past them like a heavy storm wind, causing their horses to tremble in fear. The warriors froze mid-charge, shielding themselves from the crushing wave of energy. The overwhelming sphere of chi Malice released was a force capable of toppling even Mount Tai. Eastern god Malice clenched his fist, his chi gathering and condensing tightly around it. Makemo instantly sensed the danger. Panic surged through him as he shouted, "No, this is impossible." He then roared for all his warriors to scatter. In the next moment, the entire force turned and fled in every direction. Malice stomped his foot into the ground, cracking the earth beneath him. He raised his fist for a devastating strike, his eyes turning completely white. The air around him twisted violently. Space itself began to distort and crack, the ground shattering under the pressure. Make Mo and the remaining Murim Alliance warriors stood frozen, eyes wide in disbelief at the impossible sight before them. Then, snapping back to their senses, the rest of the warriors broke into a frantic run, scattering in panic. Even the Shaolin monks fled, running for their lives. But the space around Malice continued to warp and crack under the overwhelming power of his strike. And then, within the collapsing void, a white light flashed. The shattered space suddenly reassembled as if nothing had happened. Silence fell. In the very next instant, a massive burst of light erupted. A gigantic explosion tore outward, annihilating everything in its path. The dust settled over broken Murim Alliance flags, swaying weakly in the wind. The warriors lay defeated across the ground. A colossal, deep fist mark stretched across the earth, right where the Murim Alliance once stood. Makemo hung his head, teeth clenched in shock. With a single punch, 700 or 800 martial artists have fallen. This is the Eastern God, Malice. Eastern God Malice stood firmly, glaring at the defeated Murim Alliance warriors scattered before him. He raised his voice and commanded, "If you don't want more to die, take the fallen and get out of here." The remaining warriors scrambled to check for survivors, lifting their injured comrades. Most had survived, though a few had perished. Others rushed to check on their wounded leaders. Malice's voice thundered again. "I told you, take them and leave." Now, one warrior held his injured comrade and shouted back, "Eastern God Malice, thank you for showing mercy. On behalf of the fallen leaders, I, Yeo-Du-Ji, leader of the White Rock Sword clan, thank you from the bottom of my heart. As you instructed, we will withdraw immediately." Malice turned to leave. Yeo-Du-Ji faced the others and ordered, "Members of each faction, carry your fallen comrades and the leaders." They all responded, "Yes." The Murim Alliance retreated, supporting their wounded and carrying their unconscious leaders. Yeo-Du-Ji helped his injured comrade up, sighing with a faint, relieved smile. "We should be grateful, at least our lives are spared." But suddenly, a sharp wave of killing intent surged from the mountaintop, sweeping toward the retreating warriors. Yeo-Du-Ji halted and turned slightly, sensing the overwhelming bloodlust. Eastern God Malice has vanished, but what is this? It feels as if the entire forest below Mount Changbai has turned into a ferocious beast. Meanwhile, Eastern God Malice arrived at a cliffside. A stranger sat at the top, waiting. Without looking back, the stranger spoke. "This is different from our agreement, isn't it?" He turned his head, glancing down at Malice. "Didn't we agree not to interfere with the vermin crawling in?" Eastern God Malice glanced up slightly and said calmly, "They have left." The stranger chuckled, mocking him. "Your efforts to spare your fellow people are truly touching, seeing how you've blocked me here instead of at the mountain entrance." Then, looking down coldly, he added, "But how long do you think you can keep this up?" Malice kept his gaze lowered, silent for a moment before answering. "Keep the pact." Up close, the stranger's ferocious fangs twisted into a sneer. "Pact?" he barked. "You son of a bitch, what are you talking about?" He leapt from the cliff, landing behind Malice with a wicked grin. "There are only 6 days left until the full 10 years. Just wait," he said. "You will die by my hands." With another burst of power, he launched himself upward in a flash. Malice lifted his eyes, watching the airborne figure. The stranger soared so high that his silhouette cut across the moonlight, wild and feral like a beast. At the same time, on a mountain peak about 5 ri from the entrance of Mount Jangbek, 2 figures in black robes and hats were talking. The man standing behind spoke first. "More than 20 years have passed, and it still lives up to its reputation. To think that monster is still guarding that place." His superior, wrapped in bandages, stared ahead in silence. 20 years ago, the battle on Jangbek Mountain, when I took part as a disciple of the Blade Sword sect. Because of that battle, our sect's grand plan was delayed for 20 years. I still can't forget the nightmare of that night. He exhaled softly, then said, "Anyway, to reach Jangbek Mountain before the demon god, we came non-stop from Napsal's Podarlap Palace." Looking down at the retreating Murim Alliance warriors, he added, "So why did the righteous sects move first?" Wang Heol narrowed his eyes. "By my estimation, the March-April forces of the Righteous Martial Alliance. For such a large group to enter Jangbek Mountain." His subordinate pulled him from his thoughts. "Sir Wang Heol, don't tell me the Righteous Alliance also discovered the origin of the Wind White Tiger." Wang Heol nodded. "It seems highly likely." Wang Heol's subordinate stepped forward and said, "If that's true, we should wait for the Patriarch to arrive and report it to him. Right now, it's just you, me, and the Zhu sect disciples. We may be stronger individually, but they have far too many." Wang Heol smiled slightly. "Yes, you're right about that. But This might actually work in our favor." His words left the subordinate briefly flustered. Wang Heol continued, "We don't need to intervene ourselves anymore. We plan to alert the mountain monster and let it clash with the demon god anyway." His subordinate also smiled and nodded. Of course, that was the plan from the beginning. If they kill each other, perfect. And even if they don't, anyone whose chi is heavily damaged will die when the patriarch arrives. Wang Heol glanced at the huge number of Miram Alliance warriors retreating. He cursed under his breath. Those bastards are the problem. Even after being struck by the monster, they still have too much strength left. His subordinate looked at him and asked, "After that beating, do you think they'll stay?" With a calm expression, Wang Heol replied, "If their goal is the origin itself, they'll withdraw quietly. But if they're here to disrupt our great plan, they'll try to stab us in the back." He placed a hand on his chin, thinking, "If we use the righteous martial alliance's forces to eliminate all the troublemakers in one sweep, we could regain the patriarch's trust, the trust we lost." The subordinate then asked, "Sir, between the god of war and the demon god, who do you think will win?" Wang Heol paused for a few moments before answering, "The god of war." The next day, 200 meters up Jangbeek Mountain, the Righteous Martial Alliance set up camp in a natural stronghold surrounded by mountains on 3 sides, waiting for their leaders to recover. On the 4th day, all the leaders finally regained consciousness and could begin healing their internal injuries. But Ho Hyanja, the head of the Mount Heaven sect, had suffered a broken neck and ultimately passed away. Inside the temporary command tent, the first master of the Shangxi Sword sect, Mugu Cheon, sat with his eyes closed, deep in thought. "We believed that with 5,000 elites, we could suppress the Eastern War God, but the result was miserably absurd." He glanced at the now-recovered leaders beside him and wondered quietly, "We've gathered for a meeting, but what is there even to say?" Gak-Yun folded his hands together and spoke calmly. "This humble monk cannot understand one thing. For days ago, we suffered unfortunate casualties, yet the Eastern War God let our alliance withdraw without delivering a fatal blow." Yu-Du-ji, seated across from him, nodded. "Truthfully, that bothers me as well." The head of the beggar clan looked surprised. "What exactly bothers you?" Yu-Du-ji sat up straighter. As great monk Gak-Yun said, Lord Akui seemed less interested in fighting us and more intent on blocking entry to Mount Jangbeek. And before he attacked, he looked back at the mountain, almost as if he was wary of something. Peng Yu shot to his feet, roaring, "What nonsense are you spouting? If that monster had no intention of harming our alliance, then why did he annihilate the advance party?" Gak-Yun wiped sweat from his brow. "Someone ruthless enough to wipe out the advance party. Why would he spare us? Perhaps the one who killed the advance party." Makemo stood up and interrupted calmly. "Please wait a moment. Aren't we taking this matter too lightly?" Jin Ju-yun immediately cut him off. "Patriarch Make, even if you inherited Patriarch Kang's position," Jin Ju-yun added, "do you think you can simply interrupt a conversation among leaders?" Makemo glared at him, holding back his irritation. "I've stayed quiet, but your foolishness has gone too far." He then bowed slightly. "If I've offended you, I apologize. But I speak because it feels like the leaders are dismissing those deaths as trivial." Jin Ju-yun's eyes widened in surprise. Makemo raised both hands as he continued. "Of course, given the size of our forces, a few casualties may not seem like much. But they were still our comrades, our family." He stepped forward. "And among the dead was one of our leaders, Ho Hyanja. Just because we were spared doesn't mean the Eastern War God wasn't the one who killed the advance party." Jin Ju-yun clenched his teeth, cursing silently, "This brat." Gak-Yun interjected, "Indeed. Thinking about it now, this monk may have taken the victims too lightly as well." Yu-Du-ji waved his hand calmly. "What the sect master means is that we should consider the possibility that there is another threat on Mount Jangbeek, something besides the Eastern War God. During our retreat, I felt a chilling killing intent. I am certain it did not come from him." Peng Yu slammed his hand down and pointed at Yu-Du-ji. "Patriarch Make, and you as well, Sect Master Yu. Aren't your guesses far too absurd? Who else could possibly wipe out the Righteous Alliance's advance party?" One of the captains to the side spoke up cautiously. "Patriarch Peng, you were unconscious at the time. Aren't you dismissing Sect Master Yu's words too quickly?" Peng Yu looked slightly embarrassed as he asked, What? Are you mocking this lord for being injured? Mugu Cheon rose calmly to his feet. We don't have much time. He extended his hand and said, the first and second strategies have already failed. Military intelligence suggests we carry out the final strategy devised by the supreme strategists. Zhang Xian spoke from the side. The commander is right. There's no meaning in arguing among ourselves. She closed her eyes briefly and continued. For now, according to the strategist's plan, we must have the demon cult or the extreme six martial gates engage Lord Akui, the Eastern War God. Then we strike afterward. If Lord Akui only blocks the top experts of each faction, it won't be difficult for our alliance to handle the remaining forces. Mugu Cheon glanced at her, stroking his beard as he thought. The third strategy assumes the Eastern War God has built a faction on Mount Jangbeek. But he is a one-man army. Still, there's no issue executing it. He looked around at the gathered leaders. Patriarch Make, your plan depends on the demon cult leader coming to Mount Jangbeek. Let's hope your prediction is correct. Makemo smiled slightly, raising his hand. He obtained the origin of the fire Cheon, then went north and seized the origin of the dragon ogre. He will surely come to Mount Jangbeek. If we prepare a perfect ambush, not only can we take the spiritual beast's origin, we might even use this chance to kill the demon god. But suddenly, a deep voice echoed through the hall. Quite an amusing plan. Make-Mo turned in shock as he saw movement behind him. Make-Mo frantically searched for the source of the voice as all the commanders and leaders turned toward the back. He roared, "Who just said that?" The warriors of the Miram Alliance drew their swords at once. "Someone's here. Behind us." Make-Mo faced that direction, gritting his teeth as a tremor ran through him. How could so many experts fail to sense a presence? No, impossible. A figure stood at the entrance, still concealed. He spoke. "I was wondering where you disappeared to." His tone sharpened. "So you were pulling tricks here?" Make-Mo recognized the voice. His fists tightened as he trembled. Cheon Yeo-Woon's face slowly emerged as his invisibility faded. "If you've touched someone else's property," covering his face with one hand, hiding a cold grin, he finished, "you need to pay the price." The scene shifts to 7 days earlier. Imperial capital, Kaifeng, Heavenly Demon Cult Branch Reception Room. Elder Huan and Elder Yun walked calmly into the Kaifeng branch of the Heavenly Demon Cult. The two officers stationed there bowed respectfully. Elder Huan and Elder Yun have arrived. The man before them was Gu Munjong, the Kaifeng branch chief of the Heavenly Demon Cult. He asked, "Did the cult leader give a command?" Elder Huan smiled lightly. "No, this matter involves a bit of my own discretion as well." Gu Munjong looked surprised. He quickly asked, "Elder Huan, who oversees the Dark Sect Division, cannot leave the main headquarters. If you move without a command from the cult leader." Elder Huan lightly smiled as she searched her robe and said, "Oh dear, it's not completely my own decision." She pulled out a document, the Heavenly Demon Order, with a stamped seal at the bottom. Gu Munjong and his subordinates' eyes widened as they recognized it. The Heavenly Demon Order. Both of them knelt deeply. 12th Elder Gh Chiavong pays respects to the Heavenly Demon Order. Elder Huan smiled slightly, pressing her hands together. "For today, the cult leader has entrusted me with something you may call an emergency Heavenly Demon Order." Munjong spoke up. "If it's an emergency, is it because of the Righteous Martial Alliance's movements? I already sent messenger birds to the North Sea and the main sect. That's why there's been no reply." Elder Huan softly shook her head. "Oh dear." Gu Munjong frowned. "Why do you say that?" Elder Yun folded his arms. "It hasn't been long, so you may not have noticed yet, 12th Elder. Kaifeng has been isolated." Gu Munjong froze in shock. "Kaifeng, isolated?" Elder Huan's gaze then shifted to Gu Munjong's side, making him turn as well, wondering why she stopped speaking. The man beside him then bowed slightly. "Yuk Sim Myong, Vice Lord of the Dark Sect, greets the Sect Lord." Gu Munjong was stunned at the mention of the Dark Sect. Yuk Sim Myong glanced at him and said, "I offer my apologies, Elder Gu. I couldn't reveal my identity due to the cult leader's orders." Gu Munjong let out a small laugh and nodded. Elder Huan chuckled lightly, resting his fan against his chin. To make this strategic city, Kaifeng, the new base of the Dark Sect, the cult leader sent the Vice Lord here. Gu Munjong simply nodded. Elder Huan then pointed at Yuk Sim-myong with his fan. Then shall we hear the urgent report first? Did the Vice Lord also send operatives to the main sect? Yuk Sim-myong raised his head. Yes, I was even considering going by myself soon. He continued, more than half of the dark sect agents sent to each righteous sect have lost contact. And it all happened in less than 5 days. Elder Huan rested his fan against his chin, thinking quietly before saying, this is the work of the Martial Alliance's supreme strategist, Yeo-Un Ryo. He left our spies untouched for so long just to use their intelligence against us. For him to act now, something serious is happening. He sank deeper into thought. Troublesome. He's the most difficult opponent I know. Wasn't he focused solely on the extreme 6 martial gates after discovering their spies? Yuk Sim-myong's voice pulled him back. Sect Lord, he asked, are you saying you didn't know the Martial Alliance has mobilized its full strength? Both Elder Huan and Elder Yun were caught off guard. Full strength. Elder Huan exhaled softly. So that's what happened. Yuk Sim-myong continued. The Martial Alliance divided its forces and sent them northeast and southeast. Elder Yun's anger surged. She gripped her sword tightly. So that's why they targeted our spies. For those Martial Alliance bastards to scheme like this. Elder Huan, however, remained calm. And they're still holding their forces south of the Yellow River to keep our sect from noticing their movements. But the speed at which they disrupted our intelligence network and mobilized their entire force. He paused briefly, then said, it seems the Martial Alliance is betting everything on this. Both elders rose to their feet as Gu Munjong asked in confusion, betting everything? Against our sect, Elder Huan analyzed. They left Kaifeng untouched because our cult is recognized as the state religion of the Ming Empire. That's likely why they only cut off information. Gu Munjong added, but cutting off information won't last long. Elder Huan smiled slightly. The reason is simple. They plan to use their full strength very soon. The reports from the North Sea must have shaken them. He continued calmly. Yeo-Un Ryo made a swift decision. And without a doubt, the death of the Alliance leader's second son, Kong Soa, influenced it. Losing 2 sons like that, even the Alliance leader wouldn't stay still. Elder Huan then pointed at Gu Munjong. Sending one of their 2 main forces to the northeast must be connected to you, cult leader. Gu Munjong looked startled. Wait, if Elder Huan is right, then the messenger birds we sent to the North Sea might have been intercepted by the Martial Alliance. Elder Huan closed his eyes slightly. That's why Elder Yun and I came here, so don't worry. He opened his fan with a confident grin. When it comes to information warfare against Huan Eui, cheap tricks never work. He chuckled. Looks like I need to teach you again. Haha. Meanwhile, at Cheon Yeo-Woon's side, Yeo-Un shifted from invisible to fully visible right in front of the enemy camp, leaving everyone stunned. They shouted in shock. How did you get in here? Cult leader Cheon. Makemo clenched his teeth, thinking, we even mobilized the Changchun Association to block all information going to the North Sea. So how did he? Both the beggar sect head and Pengyu of the Habuk Peng clan were equally stunned. Even peerless masters can't hide their presence perfectly. With guards on full alert, how did he slip through? They surrounded Yeo-Un with their blades aimed at him, each wondering. He wasn't visible at all and suddenly appeared. What kind of technique is this? Yeo-Un simply smiled faintly as his thoughts raced. Success. This is exactly the function of the nano suit I wanted to test. Not bad at all. He explained. This is the transparency suit mode of the nano suit, unlocked after removing the seal. It bends light to render the body invisible. It's affected by natural conditions, but with enough skill, the user can remain unseen for a long time. The lord of the Jinju Yang clan, Ian Yang-in, suddenly shouted, even if you're our alliance leader, this is outrageous. The 2 elders beside him flinched in shock. Patriarchian. Yeo-Un glanced at him coldly. A strong blue chi gathered around his raised hand. Rude, you say? He asked. Who do you think is truly being rude right now? In an instant, Ian Yang-in was forced to his knees under a crushing pressure of chi. Then bang. His face slammed into the ground, blood spreading beneath him. Pengyu stepped back, terrified. He's suppressing Ian, a master at the entrance of the flame realm. As if he's nothing. Pengyu thought, cold sweat running down his back. Did his chi rise even further after obtaining the dragon ogre's origin in the North Sea? Yeo-Un, still pinned down under the immense pressure, trembled. His body felt like it was breaking apart. What kind of chi is this? The beggar clan head quickly pleaded. Cult leader Cheon, please withdraw your chi. We are allies. Isn't this sudden pressure too much? Yeo-Un released his overwhelming chi, remaining perfectly calm. The crushing force vanished, allowing Yeo-Un to regain his breath. The beggar clan head bowed. Thank you, cult leader Cheon. He added inwardly, good. There's still room to negotiate. Cheon Yeo-Woon's chi slowly receded, but the pressure lingering in the air still weighed heavily on everyone. Elder Mu-gu Cheon wiped sweat from his brow, thinking, his suppressive chi. It's getting even stronger. Elder Gak-Yun was barely enduring, even after raising his internal force to its 10-star limit. The beggar clan had stared in disbelief. To repel 2 Flame Realm Pinnacle Masters with invisible chi, impossible. Suddenly, Make-Mo unleashed his aura with a wide grin. You 2 chiefs, thank you. He smirked inwardly. Releasing my energy seal leaves me defenseless for a moment. I couldn't risk it earlier, but thanks to the distraction you 2 created, I managed it. He charged forward, sword raised high, shouting, how careless, thinking I was weak. But Yeo-Un simply shifted his foot and caught the incoming blade between 2 fingers. Make-Mo's eyes went wide. How is he holding a blade overflowing with lightning chi? He didn't even release his own lightning chi. Why isn't he being shocked? Yeo-Woon's cold voice cut through the air. Pathetic. A faint grin formed on his lips. This is what true lightning chi is. A thunderous burst of lightning exploded from Yeo-Woon's hand, striking Make-Mo head-on. Make-Mo's eyes widened and turned completely white. He gritted his teeth tightly, thinking, why can't I expel this lightning from my body? If this keeps up, I'll die? Yeo-Un grinned slightly as he continued emitting powerful lightning chi. You're holding out better than I expected, he said. It's almost as if you, too, have tasted the blood of the dragon turtle. The rest of the Miram Alliance warriors hesitated. We have to attack first and force him to let go of his sword. The man in front concluded, if we wish to create a new world for the Blue Sky Brotherhood, we must protect the leader. He rushed forward with his colleague, their swords aimed at Yeo-Un, roaring, die. Yeo-Un glanced at them and smiled gently. He stretched out his other hand and unleashed his suppressing chi. The 2 warriors rushing at Yeo-Un were slammed to the ground by his suppressing chi, unable to move. Even their head chief was slammed hard to the ground by the same force, rendered immobile. Witnessing this, Gak-Yun realized, if this continues, everyone in the Brotherhood will. He unleashed his aura fully and opened his mouth. Please forgive my rudeness once more. Gak-Yun then used Dragon Claw Hand, the Shaolin's 72 techniques. Yeo-Un moved slightly to his side, dodging Gak-Yun's attack with ease. I'm not killing you because you are a Shaolin monk, Yeo-Un said to Gak-Yun. He then shot out 2 tangible sword chi strikes that hit Gak-Yun, sending him flying back. Gak-Yun spat out a mouthful of blood, thinking, how did he release such a massive burst of lightning chi while maintaining a technique this refined? It's impossible. Gak-Yun was thrown far away. They all turned and glanced at him. Mu-gu Cheon's eyes widened in shock as he silently pondered. He made the head Shaolin monk look like an ordinary person. Truly, a master who has transcended the realm of life and death. Mu-gu Cheon then saw Yeo-Un in a new light, noticing the same overwhelming pressure he feels when facing the Eastern demon god, Malice. Yeo-Un released his 2 fingers from Make-Mo's sword. It fell to the ground. Make-Mo now knelt before Yeo-Un, defeated, as the lightning chi still coursed through his body. His mind raced. For the new world of the Blue Sky Brotherhood, I have to escape. But his body wouldn't move. Yeo-Un grinned slightly, pointing 2 fingers downward. For now, you should stay still. He began gathering chi onto his 2 fingers. Still kneeling, Make-Mo raised his voice. Wait, please don't. Lord Cheon. With 2 fingers, Yeo-Un shot out a powerful chi attack, striking Make-Mo's dantian. Make-Mo's hard-earned cultivation was destroyed. He gradually lost everything he had built. Make-Mo screamed at the top of his lungs, a cry of loss and pain. He fell back to the ground, still shouting about his dantian. Yeo-Un raised his hand. "There are too many pests around," he said. "I'll save my questions for later." He smiled slightly as blue chi emanated from his fingers. Suddenly, the entire tent grew colder. They all breathed heavily. Yeo-Un unleashed his ice-in chi, freezing Make Mo's entire body. Make Mo's eyes widened as he trembled, the cold chi gradually spreading across his face until he was completely frozen solid. Gak-Yun struggled to his feet, gritting his teeth to maintain his balance. He breathed heavily, wondering how one human could possess so many types of chi. Could the demon lord truly be a monster on par with the Eastern caste god, Malice? Even Peng Yu and the Jinju Yang clan's Ian Yang-in were shocked. To crush a man's dantian and then seal him in ice, staring at Make Mo's frozen body, they realized his foresight against future threats was truly terrifying. Ruthless to the bone, Mu Gu Cheon remained under immense pressure from Yeo-Un. He calculated silently. Lord Cheon, no, the demon god, might be even more dangerous than the Eastern caste god. At least Ark never leaves Mount Changbai. If the demon god truly unleashes his power, the balance of the three great forces will collapse. Gritting his teeth, Mu Gu Cheon stood firm. Right now, Yeo-Un stands alone, right at the heart of the Martial Artists Alliance's army. For the future of Murim, perhaps we should die here together. The Beggar clan had sent a voice transmission. First Master, no matter what happens, we must force the demon god to fight the Eastern caste god. Mu Gu Cheon replied. If he were the type to negotiate, our talks earlier would have succeeded. Besides, he already knows our plan, to make them destroy each other so we can seize the remnants. Mu Gu Cheon forcefully activated his chi, gathering it in his palm. Lord Cheon, you may have infiltrated here undetected, but the tent began to tremble as the Murim Alliance warriors glanced up. Mu Gu Cheon clenched his fist tightly as his chi burst outward. He roared, "Do you think you can leave here unscathed with 5,000 elite martial artists alliance troops around?" His chi exploded, destroying the entire tent. The people stationed outside were shocked, wondering what had gone wrong. Sunlight shone down on Yeo-Un as all the Murim Alliance warriors spotted him. One warrior shouted, "I heard the commotion from the main tent and rushed here. What are the guards doing?" Mu Gu Cheon raised his sword high and commanded, "Soldiers of the Martial Artists Alliance, listen. As you can see, the demon lord himself has stormed into the heart of our camp. Will you just stand by?" The Murim Alliance warriors rushed to surround Yeo-Un, gritting their teeth and glaring at him with swords emanating strong chi. Some wore blue robes, others red. They gathered from all sides, encircling him completely. Yeo-Un remained calm and composed. After a moment of silence, he asked, "So that's your answer?" Zhang Xian felt nervous as she noticed his composure. She thought to herself, surrounded by 5,000 troops, and there's not even a hint of fear in his eyes. He truly lives up to the title of demon god. Mu Gu Cheon pointed his sword at Yeo-Un. "Lord Cheon, I'll speak frankly. I don't want any pointless slaughter. The Alliance is only concerned that you will obtain another spirit core. You understand why that frightens us." Still pointing his sword, he continued, "Even after all this, our sects and your cult remain allies. If you swear to stop pursuing the spirit beasts, we will lower our swords at this very moment. But if you intend to fight us to the bitter end, we will fight with our lives on the line. Choose. Will you abandon the spirit beasts for peace with your allies, or will you push this to a bitter conclusion?" Before he could finish, Mu Gu Cheon noticed something heading toward him. He quickly bent down to dodge Yeo-Un's swift attack, but the warriors behind him weren't so lucky. They were sliced in half. Mu Gu Cheon's eyes widened as the unfortunate martial artists were split in two, blood spraying everywhere. He turned to glare at Yeo-Un. "Cursed fool. So you truly desire bloodshed in the end." But in an instant, another attack flashed toward Mu Gu Cheon. He managed to notice it just in time and deflected it. Though he was pushed back several meters, struggling to maintain his balance from that single strike. When he looked up, Yeo-Un had vanished. Yeo-Un instantly appeared in front of him and grabbed his neck tightly, choking him. Mu Gu Cheon gripped his sword and thrust it swiftly toward Yeo-Un's stomach. Yeo-Un caught his arm with his free hand while maintaining his grip on Mu Gu Cheon's neck. "Alliance this, alliance that," he said. tightening his hold on Mu Guchion's arm until the bones cracked. His expression shifted sharply. With anger in his voice, Yeo-Un growled, "Damn alliance." His face then twisted into something far more sinister as he released a crushing, killing intent. "Don't you ever get tired of saying that word?" Yeo-Un tightened his grip, trying to tear Mu Guchion's arm from his body. Mu Guchion's eyes turned blood red as he screamed in agony. A moment later, his arm was ripped clean from his shoulder, blood spraying everywhere. His eyes went blank and rolled back as another scream tore out of him. Yeo-Un pulled his hand away without hesitation, sending another burst of blood into the air. Some Miram Alliance warriors raised their arms to shield themselves from the spray. The Beggar clan head shouted, "Cult leader, the people from the Blade God 6 Martial clan are still here. If we fight now, it will only lead to casualties on both sides." But Yeo-Un struck Mu Guchion again, sending him flying as he roared, "Silence!" Mu Guchion crashed hard, skidding across the ground and carving a deep trench. The Beggar clan head cried out, "Master Mu." Yeo-Un's face remained cold. "You only remember the alliance when it benefits you. Behind our backs, you dare plot something like this." He glanced down at Mu Guchion's broken body. From now on, the demonic cult alone is enough to destroy the Blade God 6 Martial clan. His aura surged violently as he declared, "The alliance ends here." Yodi Yongin and Prungyu froze in shock. "Breaking the alliance?" one muttered. The other added, "What kind of nonsense is this?" Zhang Xian helped Gakyun stand. Gakyun stared ahead in disbelief. "So it truly ends here." Yeo-Un spoke coldly. "Did you really think I would follow you forever while you wave the word alliance around like some kind of flag?" His eyes glowed as he shouted, "Miram Alliance!" Suddenly, an overwhelming pressure engulfed the battlefield. The chi was so intense that stones and debris lifted into the air under Yeo-Un's telekinetic force. Still holding one hand forward, his expression calm, he said, "You came to take my life, didn't you? Then be ready to lose yours as well." Almost all the Miram Alliance warriors gripped their swords tightly, refusing to let go. The Beggar clan head turned to the others. "That's the Sky Flash," he shouted. "Destroy all your weapons now." The two warriors beside him shattered their swords immediately. "Destroy them. Don't leave a single fragment," he continued. "Pour all your energy in. Turn your swords into dust." The Beggar clan head smirked slightly as he looked at Yeo-Un, thinking, "Even without Sky Flash, we can fight him with the rotating wheel formation. Don't think we came unprepared this time, Demon God." Yeo-Un only smiled faintly and sighed. "So you can learn after all, it seems." A chilling wave of icy chi spread from Yeo-Un toward the crowd. Zhang Xian stepped back, shocked. "What is this?" "The wind. It feels like it's freezing." She looked down at her half-frozen sword. "This cold energy, it's completely different from the ice inside the command tent earlier." Above them, ice shadows began forming into sword shapes without anyone noticing at first. Zhang Xian finally looked up. Her eyes widened in disbelief. "What is that?" "The ice it's gathering in." The countless icy shapes in the sky solidified into fully formed ice swords, completely surrounding the 5,000 Miram Alliance warriors. The Beggar clan head tried to steady his men, shouting, "Don't panic." It's impossible for him to channel chi through an ice sword. Yeo-Un sneered and raised his hand, chi surging around all the ice swords. "Impossible?" he said. With a simple gesture, he sent the swords raining down. Says who? No one in the Martial Artists Alliance knew. Cheon Yeo-Woon had already mastered the heavenly ice celestial art to its highest limit, and could create ice as hard as steel. Meanwhile, the unskilled warriors were being cut down left and right. The Beggar clan had narrowly dodged the attacks, thinking, "Damn it, this is just like Jin Seong. He shows no mercy." Glaring at Yeo-Woon from afar, he continued, "Once the cult leader declared the alliance was over, he didn't hold back. Only a handful of us can block or dodge these ice swords." He and Zhang Xian struggled to defend against the incoming strikes as he thought, for the rest, it's only a matter of time. But if we kill him, we can stop this slaughter. During the Great Sect War, we couldn't act because every faction was watching. But this time, it's different. He raised his voice and roared, "Kill the cult leader. Pierce his heart or behead him. That's the only way we win." The warriors stared in shock as he pressed on. He's controlling thousands of ice swords. There must be openings. Our enemy is just one man. Only one. Some Murim Alliance warriors trembled, thinking, but how? We don't even have weapons. The rain of ice blades continued to fall as Yeo-Un stood calmly in the center, unmoving. Others stared at the storm surrounding him, thinking, charging in there is suicide, like a moth to a flame. Zhang Xian kept blocking the falling ice swords, cursing inwardly. Damn it, they're all frozen in fear. Their will to fight is completely shattered. Suddenly, a voice cut through the chaos. Heroes of the true path. She turned to see Mu Guqion, shouting as he pressed an acupoint on his wounded shoulder. Death is life. Life is death. Do not fear death. Stand against evil. He gave a strained grin. If we face this demonic tyranny head-on, even death is victory. Zhang Xian called out, Warlord Mu, you haven't fully recovered yet. Mu Guqion grabbed a broken sword and growled, Never mind me. He pushed himself to his feet, voice firm and unwavering. I will lead. With a roar, he shouted, For the true path. He dashed forward in a burst of speed as Zhang Xian reached out, calling after him. Mu Guqion charged straight through the storm of ice, deflecting the falling blades. Cheon Yeo-Woon, Lord of the demonic cult, you truly are a terrifying monster, he thought. Blood spilled from his mouth as he grit his teeth. The more of your ice swords I shatter, the more my body breaks. Yet he pushed on, smashing through the ice relentlessly. But I will not stop. The beggar clan head saw him and shouted, Master Mu. Yodi Yang-in and Pengyu also noticed, yelling, Master Mu, press forward. Cut off that monster's head. Soon, the entire crowd raised their voices, cheering for him. Mu Guqion managed a faint smile as he thought, there is still hope for the Martial Artists Alliance. All I can do now is reignite their fighting spirit. His gaze sharpened with determination as he rushed onward. Even if I die here, my sacrifice will give them courage. They will fight with the resolve to live or to die. In the next second, an incoming ice sword shattered Mu Guqion's own blade. His eyes widened as he saw 3 blue streaks of light flying straight toward him. He closed his eyes, feeling he had already given everything he had. Is this as far as I go? He wondered. But nothing happened. He slowly opened his eyes and saw his comrades surrounding him, blocking the incoming ice swords with their own bodies and chi. He stared in disbelief. What is this? Zhang Xian glanced at him with a small smile. We will fight by your side. Yodi Yang-in also smiled. We can't let the first warlord take all the glory alone. Pengyu grinned from behind. To live is to die is to live. Steel Sword Squad Commander Omengdo, joining the charge. Mu Guqion's fighting spirit blazed again. Do you understand now, demon god? In the face of death, we of the Orthodox sect stand together. He raised 2 fingers, forming a chi blade at his fingertips. What does it matter if we have no swords? We'll fight with our bare hands. What matters most is a heart that never surrenders. He yelled, One sacrifice is enough. With his comrades beside him, he rushed forward with a roar. Charge! If you enjoyed this episode, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what happens next. See you next time.